Ethan Soloviev, welcome to the Forum for the Future of Agriculture. You've just been on a panel talking about AI, how it will redefine what's possible in the agri-food system. Now, you are the Chief Innovation Officer at HowGood, a sustainability research company. Urgency is always a theme at the forum, and we know that if we think about global warming, that 1.5 degree target, it's probably gone. So, you look at that in terms of the fact that actually that 1 minute to midnight for climate change is very much part of the agenda. How does HowGood look at that question and answer the why and what can be done?
There are an amazing number of ways that we can accelerate while also keeping a long-term view. We look at what happened in the world in COVID, and we saw an unprecedented level of coordination to make a massive new scientific discovery, changes very, very quickly. We can still do that. I don't think 1.5 is gone. It might be, but there's a possibility if we had that level of coordination, investment at scale on something that is so existential, maybe we could. Nobody expected solar energy to be so inexpensive and move so fast. It's beating all the predictions in how quickly it's going. So there can be a change once we shift the fundamental underlying economics and data structure for what we're working on together. So yes, climate is important, of course, but also we have climate nested within biodiversity, and all of that within there we have economics and farmer economic livelihoods. If we can optimize for all of those at the same time, which has been hard in the past, it takes a lot of computation. The food and agriculture system kind of got us into this mess by over-optimizing for single things. Now, with the power of AI, working through the whole food and agriculture system, we can actually optimize holistically across climate, nature, and people.
I mean, you are fully aboard the train, and you said the train is on the tracks and rolling, but on the panel discussion, you were firmly of the view that it is more beacon of hope than existential threat, right?
On the panel, yes, and I think in a lot of ways,
yes.
In general, yes, although I'm not immune to the thought of existential threat, and I think learning about it, experiencing, following the research, like everyone should be doing it right now, constantly. All of us should be playing and experimenting and learning and understanding the power that especially the new level of agentic AI has is striking. Things that would have taken my research team 4 weeks to pull off, I can do in 4 minutes with a single prompt. So the speed of knowledge changing is quite incredible. And what comes with it is some things that we don't understand and are frightening about AI in new emergent properties that the models are having, that the researchers are putting out, that they're basically saying, we don't really know why the models are doing this. But that doesn't mean stop and run the other way. That means let's lean in. Let's have, as we were discussing on the panel, regulation that is working at pace and can get to agreement on a forward-looking outcomes we're hoping to achieve, as opposed to a stifling, we have to stop everything now and wait until we're sure if it's safe. It's just moving too fast in too many directions for that to actually work.
So it's about facing those fears and, as you say, getting on board with it. You talked about robotics are coming too, but people do worry about deepfake. They worry about disinformation. They also worry about AI not being particularly green. It requires a lot of energy. Quantum's coming. It involves a lot of cooling. There are big issues. How do you square that circle?
So there's a lot of work happening. I don't think it's solved yet. We work with some of the largest tech companies in the world. They don't have it solved yet. What we do have is the energy side of it. There's a trajectory to solving it. We have renewable energy already economically cheaper, not even being propped up anymore. It's just the smarter thing to do. So the electricity and energy usage side, we have a path there. Water is another major issue with data centers. I don't think that the answer, at least not right now, is sending all the data data centers into space. I think we can do more with what we have on Earth first. But I think data centers should be held to direct specific account on the water that they're using. And I think they should have to use regenerative agriculture and restorative land management to reforest and repair a large amount of degraded land in the world, such that there is more water being created in total than they are using up. Is that happening yet? No. Do we have regulatory regimes and economics that favor that? No. But that's some of the work that I think we need to put in place in order to balance out that essentially water debt, especially, that's being generated by the use.
And when we look at water security, energy security, food security, particularly with unrest and disruption and war, then of course it becomes even more important. Farmers are nervous of it, though. I know that you have High Falls Farm, and so you are a farmer. You are a farmer. I mean, is AI a force for good from your point of view? And do you use AI when you look at services and design for sustainable regenerative agriculture?
So it's more, what I think AI will actually most evolve is not necessarily robotics, not yet, not in the next 2 years. I think that's like 5, 6 years out when we're seeing that at scale. The fastest thing that AI will change, which is how it's affecting our farm, is in the mental models and decision-making time and speed and gathering information and choosing which way to go. It is certainly affecting things there. We are
you can ask the right questions to get any kind of good answers there, because it's just pattern matching.
Yes, but also more and more the AI, especially if and we talked about this on the panel, I believe we need AI that is more specifically trained on agroecological, regenerative, agroforestry, literature and understanding, as opposed to just being trained on pure agronomic, monoculture, row crop, industrial agriculture data, which is most of what's currently being used. So the training data matters, and that's what I need on my farm. That's what smallholder farmers around the world need. That's what farmers who want to transition to more sustainable, more regeneration, they need that rather than just keep optimizing for yield, productivity, cost down. We need a more holistic set of data to be working with. The models are getting better at asking questions. You send it one direction and they say, well, what have you thought about this? Or would you consider that? And I think there's a way that it can be mind expanding, as well as we still have to balance the threat of its diminishing critical thinking capability. So it's not all rosy. I am bullish, but a lot of that comes from, again, it's too late to not go that way. It's moving so quickly that if we're just going to pull out and pull back, then other forces, extractive industry is using it as much as they want. The folks who want to blast off to space, they're using it a huge amount. So I want land stewards. I want fisher folk and farmers and ranchers who are deeply connected to nature, who care about their land in a deep way. I want them bringing that sensitivity, that sensibility, the nature intelligence, the agricultural intelligence, to what otherwise will become artificial, synthetic, machine-focused. Let's bring agriculture into that to inform what happens for everyone else.
So finally then, Ethan, what would be your moonshot? What's your one last thought for where you see progress?
I think something, being here in Brussels and thinking about the length of time it takes to get policy, the 7-year cap, the 14-year cycles that some people are thinking in, I don't think there's enough long-term, as in 50-year, 100-year, 200-year planning that's happening for the food and agriculture system. And so the thing that I'm mulling on here is, let's create a new think tank or a confederated think tank around the world that is making 50-year plans for the food and agriculture system, using AI, using large ecological models to speed up the work, to be more effective than the other think tanks and policy groups that are out there, but to really set that guiding star that we're looking to of affordable, nutritious, delicious food that is also carbon capturing, biodiversity enhancing, income uplifting. Let's figure out how we move all the policies in the world, Europe especially, but in the world, in that direction, rather than just trying to stop the harm, because it just won't work fast enough.
Well, thank you, and on that note, we will leave it. Thank you for being part of our forward-looking discussion today at the Forum.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.